Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, I've been in the car for hours today, so I am looking forward to having a go at a puzzle. And I get to do a Xeon Risk Sudoku today, which is interesting because I don't think I've got to do his puzzles in the past. But I hope I'm not wrong about that. But I'm looking forward to this one. Oh, and I do need to mention the incredible Patreon reward for this month, which starts with this extraordinary set layout for a scene from a movie. Let's say that much about it. It is brilliant, this Sudoku hunt. There's plenty of puzzles to get your teeth into. We've been getting some correct answers to the whole hunt in already. It'll be open till the 20th. Well done to anybody who's already done it. It's by Peter C. Hayward. It is top quality, and that is confirmed by the people who have done it or are working their way through it. Discord's very useful. If you look on the links under the video, you can find your way to Patreon, where you can get that hunt if you're a $2 Patreon. If you're a $3 Patreon, you can see the videos to Puzzle Pyramid and all our past hunts as well, which explain the solutions, and they might help just with the general theory for this one. So also under the video, links to our apps, SUDOKU PAD, our merch, all that kind of stuff. But the first link is to this puzzle called Symbiosis. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Somehow in my head, I've always said symbiosis, but I think that sounds more like a disease affecting the Lion King. So symbiosis is probably the correct pronunciation. And the rules are these. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Numbers mustn't repeat in a cage, and the cages add up to the totals given. So 3 different digits making 20 there. And then these little killer clues, numbers along the indicated diagonals must sum to the given total. These can include repeats. Certainly for some of them they will, but those 4 cells will add up to 16. They might not be repeats, but I think we can guarantee repeats on the 18 and the 60 diagonals at least. So do give it a try on the link if you fancy a go at this. Otherwise, I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. And I think it's the 18s and the 6. I mean, first of all, I'm going to say I've seen killer and little killer puzzles before. I've never seen any with so few clues. This is extraordinary. But I think the only way in, therefore, is through the 18 diagonals, or maybe even better, the 60. 18, at a minimum, you could put 1s in those 3 cells and 1-2 pairs there, and that would actually only add up to 9. So the 60 may be better. You could put 9s in there is 27. 9-8 pairs there is 34. That's 61. So there is only 1 degree of freedom. Those ones can be from 9-8 or 7 and must include a 9 within the boxes. Now, the 1 degree of freedom I'm talking about, let me just explain that concept. It kind of means that the maximum along here is a 9, a 9-8 pair, a 9, a 9-8 pair, and a 9. And that would add up to 61. So we can only take one of those off. So we can reduce either one of the individual 9s by 1 or one of the 8s in the 9-8 pairs by 1. And that's how we're going to get to 60. I don't know where they happen. In this 20 cage, yeah, it can't be 8-7 in that cage, because that would take 2 of those degrees of freedom. It would reduce one of these from being a 9, and it would put a 7. It would reduce one of the 9-8 pairs to a 9-7 pair. So that can't be 8-7. So one of those is a 9. This is either 9-7 or 9-8, and the other digit is 4 or 3. Same must be true down here. It's either 9-7 or 9-8, and that is 2 or 3. So now we've got a big digit on each of the 18 diagonals. So the minimum that we could have along the rest, well, what's the minimum for the whole thing? We could have 1s in those 3 is 3. A 7 there is 10. That could be a 1 for 11, and a 2 and a 1 for 14. Okay, let's take them together. That might be what we have to do. That might be the symbiosis of the title. Right, these cells add up to 36 now. Only one of those could be a 7. What are the minimum values? Those are in the same cage, of course. So a 1 and a 2 there, a 1 and a 2 here in box 5. Not same cage, same box was what I was trying to say. A 1 and a 2 there. This could be a 1 and a 2 in box 4. This could be a 1 and a 2 in box 8. If these were both 1s, that would make these two not able to both be... that would make neither of them able to be a 1. So effectively, this is like another 1-2 pair. It doesn't have to be. They could both be 1s, but if they were, that would push the values up here. So now we've got the minimum values here. We get 3 there, 3 between there, 3 between there, 3 lots of 3. Another one there, 4. Another one there, 5. And another one there, 6 lots of 3, 18 is the absolute minimum of these little cells. And then the big ones, they could both be 9s. Actually, can they be 7s? No, these can't be 7s. I've just worked that out. Neither of them can be a 7. And that's because if this was a 7, you need a 9 in this cage. And that would be a 9. But that would make this an 8. And that would reduce one of these. But you'd already have reduced one of the 9-8 pairs by using a 7. So they can't be 7s. They are either 8 or 9. So if there's a 7, it's in one of those two places. And alternatively, there's an 8 in one of those 3. I don't quite know what it means. 2 and 3 as possibilities here. Yeah, 2 would have quite the impact, wouldn't it? It sees all of those cells. How does this work? Might need to think about this diagonal again. Sorry. If that was a 2, this would be a 9. Oh, that's the only way to make... If that's a 3, this is a 7. And that takes the degree of freedom. And we know what everything else is, because they have to be 9s. That's an 8. That's a 9. That's a 9. So if that's a 3, it's very useful. So maybe I need to rule out it being a 2. What happens if it's a 2? Then that allows this to be 9-8. But that now forces 1s here. These can't both be 8s, can they? No, they can't. If they were both 8s, you'd have 2 9s there. And these two would both be small, but we can't reduce these 3 by 2 degrees. So those two can't both be small. And that means one of these is a 9. The other one can be an 8, but that's only 1 degree of freedom. If they're 9s, all of these other cells are 1s and 2s. If they're both 9s, all of those other cells are 1s and 2s. I rather think that might be the case. But if they're not, if one of them is an 8, that gives us 1 degree of freedom, which would allow this to be a 2 just. But I don't think this can work. If that was a 2, one of these would become the 3 that used up the degree of freedom. That would allow one of these to be an 8. Which doesn't actually use up the degree of freedom. Well, it sort of does, because whichever one's an 8 makes a 9 in its box, which puts an 8 in one of the cells that that would use up the degree of freedom for the diagonal in the cells that can only be 9s or 1 can go. Yeah, what I'm trying to say, sorry, that wasn't very articulate at all. If we are looking at 9, if we have a 2 here, which puts a 3 into one of those cells, uses up the degree of freedom, then we have to have 9 and 8 in the purple cells. But whichever one is an 8 puts a 9 here in the cage, and he puts an 8 into the other cell in the cage, which uses up the degree of freedom there. So that would fix the 60 diagonal. So if that's a 2, weirdly, either way around, this is going to be a 9, because that can't be where the degree of freedom goes in this diagonal. It either goes in a 7 here, specifically, actually, or it goes in one of these cells. So that's a 9. Actually, this can't be a 7 anymore, because if that was a 7, that's a 9. Now this would have to... Oh, no, that's all right. That can only not be a 7 if this is a 2. Okay, I'm not going to claim that that's not a 7 yet. But this being a 2 is a real issue, because that's putting a 1 and 3 here, which is forcing this to definitely be an 8-9 pair, which is forcing one of these to be a 9, and one of these to be small, i.e. 8. I mean, it's not very small, but smaller than max, which is absolutely key. I'm still not certain that this doesn't work. If that's a 2, well, both of these would have to become 1s, because you've put a 3 here. These now can only be, every other purple cell can only be 1 or 2. That would make this a 2 and that a 2. Oh, and that would make this the 1. You could have the 3 here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And that's not going to work. Let me just show you that. I mean, I can see that that doesn't work. I can see that this has now become a 3. But let me show you what happens if that's a 2. If that's a 2, and we've just discussed that, that's the only thing that allows the degree of freedom to continue along here. And the way it does it forces those to become 1s. That's a 2. That's a 2, because we can't. We're going to use the degree of freedom in one of those cells. That being a 2 makes that a 1, which makes that a 2, which makes that a 1. Oh, this is weird. I mean, it does sort of continue, and I've done this. This now must be where the 3 is, and that's the 1, and that's a 2. But look at these sums: 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 11. That would be a 7, which it can't be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and that would be a 10. So although we allow those to add up to 17, it's only by having a 7 and a 10. So that is not what happens. The 2 has broken this. That cannot be a 2. It's definitely complicated to see, but I could see that by working through the 1 possibilities. I mean, there may be a simpler way of seeing it, although I rather suspect there isn't, but let me know in the comments if there is. But anyway, that cannot be a 2. That is a 3. This is a 7-9 pair. That's where the degree of freedom goes here. So 7 there, 9 there. Now that has to be a 9. This is a 9-8 pair. So that one's an 8 in the same cage. That's a 9. This is a 9. And now this adds up. 5 9s is 45, plus another 15 is 60. So that's done. This has become a 3 as well, just like that. Oh, yeah, look, 9, 9, and 9. They see all of those cells, 1 each. So this can't have a 9 in. Therefore, it must be 8, 7, 5. And we can see where the 8 and 7 go from 2 of those that we put in. So 5 goes there. That's on the 25. Oh, I tell you what I'm going to do now. These are all definite ones and twos, because once those are 2 9s, they have to be. They've been minimized. So let's take out the corner marks. We can put them in there. I'm actually, I think I can color them as well. So if I make this one green, no, actually that's not the place to start. Let's make this one green. Then those are purple, which are the opposite. Then this must be green. Then this is purple, that's green. This is purple, that's green. Yes, this is good. That's purple, that's green. What do I know about these two? I don't know what the colour they are. That's why I didn't start there. Strange. Okay. Oh, look, 9 in this column can't be in those two cells, so it's down here. 9 in row 6 is there. They're both on the 27. So these two add up to 9, and they're either 3, 6 or 4, 5. These two are 4 and 6. So are these two. That gives a pair in the central box. These are 3, 7, and 8, the other possible digits. Odd, I don't know which of those is purple and which is green, but I can live with that. Now, the 25 diagonal may be getting a bit interesting. That is definitely a pair adding up to 3, because they're different colours. Plus 5 is 8. Oh, this 19 cage doesn't have a 9 in. So it's either 8, 7, 4 or 8, 6, 5. It's definitely got an 8 in. Oh, that one's not an 8 because it sees an 8 in the row. So 8 is there, 8 is there. One of those two is 8. This 16 is not very helpful yet, I don't think. Got these 4 6s. The 60's been done. Oh, the 18s, of course, they're going to reveal the colour of these. Yes, they do. They do. Because I don't know what the number is, but that 9, it's got 3 there in different colours, 3 there in different colours, plus 9 is therefore 15. This pair has to add up to 3, so they have to be different colours. That's lovely. So that's purple. That one is green. Oh, now I can finish off green in box 1, yes, and box 6, and box 9. Must be able to do the same for purple. One of those two cells. Hang on. Oh, these 9s don't need to be purple anymore. That's confusing me. Purple, purple. Yes, that's purple. That's purple, so it's not 8. Purple, purple. That's the last purple. So let's just fill in 1, 2 in all of those. Now, this not being 8, that is helpful. That sticks an 8 on the 25 diagonal. So 8, 13, 16. We've got another 9 to put in, and none of those can be 1 or 2. We've got 3 cells that have to add up to 9 without being 1 or 2. We know what they all are. They're all 3s. So that's not a 3 and that's not 3. So it's not a 3, 6 pair. That's a 4, 5 pair. 3 must go there in row 7 and there. We're going to finish off the 3s. Those can't be 3s, so the last 3 is in box 5. Oh, this is so clever. So this is, yeah, that's been done. That's been done. This one hasn't. All of the diagonals have effectively been done once we get the pairs untangled. But these two cells add up to either 12 or 11. Oh, look, neither of them can be 7 or 9 or 1 or 2 or 3. And they add up to 12 or 11. So it's either 8, 4 or 5, 6. That's a really weird pair of pairs. 8, 4 or 5, 6. I don't know how to figure those out. So 7, that can't be 7. Oh, we've got 8, 8. One of those is 8. 8 in one of those cells. Oh, not getting 8s done. 9, 1, 2, 7, 3. We've got 4, 5, 6, 8 to put in the box. Oh, what am I meant to do now? I've got so much done suddenly. Done 9s, maybe 7s. Yes, look, this 7 and that 7 are ruling out all of those cells. So this is a 7. One of those is a 7. Ah, there's no 7 in this cage. So there's also no, what is it, 4 in that cage. So it's an 8, 5, 6 cage. 3, 1, 2, 7. Oh, 9. I haven't put 9 in this box or this box. I think they're both write-ins. They're both very helpful write-ins. This one gets me an 8 down here. That I should have got ages ago. No, that's not quite as helpful as I thought it was going to be. But 5, 6, 8 here makes this a 7, 4 pair. That fixes 6 and 4, 6 and 4. 7. Oh, 4, 7. This is a 5, 8 pair, weirdly. In the rest of the column. Still no idea on working out the 1s and 2s. Don't know what that is yet. 9, 3, 1, 2, 7. No, I don't know how to do this. 4 and 4. Well, one of those twos are 4. It's either there with 8 there. 5, 6, and 7 to put in at the top. Right. I've just seen. Oh, that 4 is seeing that pair. So 4 there. We get a 4 up here. These are from 5, 6, and 7. And that one can't be 7. Oh, that 4 is now looking down at this 5, 4 pair. That 5's looking across at this 8, 5 pair. Oh, this is pretty. Now, neither of these can be an 8. So it's not an 8, 4 pair. It's a 5, 6 pair, which adds up to 11. And suddenly we know that green is 2 to make this 16 work. And purple is 1. And they're all suddenly done. And 5 is seeing that cell. So that's the 6. This is the 5. We get a 4 here. 8 and 6 can go in. This is a 5, 4 pair. We must be able to finish the last 3 rows. 6 and 7. We've got a 4, 5 pair in column 1. We've got a 7, 6 pair in box 4. That makes this a 5. We are actually getting there now. This is a brilliant puzzle. This is what Xeon Risk is all about. Just cleverness throughout. I mean, well, there was that very intricate step at the start. Let's not make any bones about it. That was pretty hard. But once you get through that, it's absolute joy all the way. Yeah, I mean, if there's a cleaner way of proving that's not a 2, please let me know, because I'm going to claim it's not bifurcation because I could see it, but I couldn't explain it without showing it to you, how that broke down. And it's complicated, but that is a brilliant puzzle nonetheless. Really interesting symbiosis of diagonals there. Thanks to Xeon Risk. Thank you for watching and trying to follow my reasoning through that one. I mean, it was all at the start there, wasn't it? That was absolutely fascinating. And a brilliant setup to have so few killer and little killer clues. And look, these 19 cages were totally different from each other, totally different constituents in those in the 20s. Oh, I mean, it's really clever. Brilliant puzzle. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.